Welcome to another lovely episode of It's Okay Not to Be Okay. I want to read something. I'm still alive, but I'm barely breathing. Just praying to a God that I don't believe in. 'Cause I got time while she got freedom. And when her heart breaks, no, it don't break even. Her best days will be some of my worst. She's finally met a man that's going to put her first. While I'm wide awake, she's no trouble sleeping. 'Cause when her heart breaks, no, it don't break even. What am I supposed to do when the best part of me was always you? And what am I supposed to say when I'm all choked up and you're okay? They say bad things happen for a reason. And no wise words are going to stop the bleeding. 'Cause she's moved on while I'm still grieving. And when her heart breaks, no, it doesn't break even. Now you got his heart and my heart and none of the pain. You took your suitcase and I took the blame. Now I'm trying to make sense of what little remains. Because you left me with no love and no love to my name. That was a song from the script called Break Even. Now, okay, this episode is about closure. This is the part 1. And part 2 is coming because I don't have time right now to give y'all a full rundown on everything. But what I want to say to y'all is, if you ever looking for closure in a relationship, you're never going to get it. You're never going to get closure from any relationship. Any of them. Or every relationship you've ever been in, you carry baggage from those relationships to other relationships. The key is knowing how to control your luggage. The real key lies in knowing exactly how to control your luggage. Now, I read off those lyrics because there's been times in my life where I have been in moments where I've wanted to get certain amount of closure from a relationship. It ain't even always got to be a romantic one. You feel me? But in this life, there's no closure. If y'all can tell me a situation where y'all really got closure from it, then you guys have mastered the ability to just deal with life in all its elements. Now, a lot of people, when they down bad, they turn to religion. A lot of people, when they down bad, they put their frustrations into their work. They double down in their professions. They triple down on whatever beliefs they got. They hit the gym. There's ways to take your mind off of things that's going on. But do you really ever get closure? I think the only people that truly get closure are people in divorces. Real divorce. If you got the paperwork drawn up, if you went down the aisle and got married to said person and then had to turn around, had to get that paperwork for a marriage, and then you turned around and really had to go get that paperwork for a divorce, I believe that's the only way that you get real closure. Everything else is an illusion. Everything else is an illusion. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Like, you can't tell me that my last two relationships really showed me that I don't need to be in a relationship at all with nobody. And by the time I'll be ready to be in a relationship with anybody else, you know, it might not even be all it's dressed up to be. So I might literally, like, my projections are really to be single for the rest of my life. The funny part is, it's one girl I really do like. I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna hold y'all. I really like this young. But the amount of trauma I've dealt with and the amount of trauma that she's dealt with has really told, I'm like, yo, maybe I can't even pursue this junk, because we both have a lot of unpacking to do in our respective areas before I could even go about trying to, like, initiate anything that's other than genuine friendship. But I do like the girl, and I ain't gonna act like I don't like the girl. I've liked the girl for dumb long, whatever. But I just know the person I am and the person that I might have to be for the next 2, 3, 4 years. It's not going to suit anybody. Like, I have to truly get all elements of my life together, y'all. And it's real. Like this, like I said all the time, this podcast didn't start from me having it all together. The podcast started because I had nowhere to vent to necessarily about a breakup. You feel me? I had lost the girl of my dreams. I say it all the time. She was the girl of my dreams. I spent 7 years avoiding relationships. Actually, we can make that even clear. I probably spent the greater part of 9 years completely avoiding all relationships until I got that girl. I got that girl and couldn't be happier. You know what I'm saying? But I didn't do the necessary work to keep that girl. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I always painted her to be the bad guy when it came to certain people that I was around. Now, the funny part about life is I ain't around none of these people no more. So, like, what was all that for? You know what I'm saying? Like, really, what was all that for? I'm not around none of those people. I mean, none of them. I ain't around none of them. I might talk to one, possibly, but they kind of janky. So, you know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna stress myself out over nobody that's kind of janky. I can't do it. I got things I'm trying to work on my own in real time, so I can't devote my time to people that want to be sometimesy. And I don't blame them for not wanting to devote any of their time with me, because I be sometimesy. You feel me? So, like, you know, you can only give what you get. You can only get what you give. That's another gem. Y'all got to take that down. You can only get what you give. You can only give what you get. You know what I'm talking about? Like, once you can only really give people what they give you, whether you show it in a loud manner, whether you are quiet about it. You know what I mean? Like, I always feel like I'm a naturally loud individual. So my silent protest speaks higher volumes than when I'm just yap, because all of my tone, the way I talk, how I talk, blah, 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 it'll fall on deaf ears. But guess what? When I start going silent, for some reason that's really loud. Y'all hear that? When I get silent, the silence feels louder than when I'm talking. So, like, so I started this podcast because I lost the girl of my dreams, and I wasn't in a position to even feel like I could have anything to offer anyone from a relationship standpoint, right? Fast forward about 10 months from when I lost that relationship. I somehow end up in a whole nother relationship. I say somehow because I never asked for the relationship. Like, I wasn't trying to be in a relationship. And I just somehow ended up in a relationship. It sounds stupid, but I've had the problem of just like letting women tell me that I'm their nigga or I'm their boyfriend or I'm their guy or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've had that problem I've had that problem for years. I'm not going to act like I haven't. Like, there's been times like, I remember, see, the funnier part of this conversation is I remember being in a situation with a girl for like off and on, like maybe 4 years. And every time she was like, oh, you know, you my nigga. And I know I am not. I am not yours. You are not mine. Because if you was mine, you'd be carrying yourself differently. And I will always remind her of that. And she would not like that. But at least I used to be able to stand firm in that situation. That was part of that 7, 8, 9 year gap of just being single, waiting on the girl of my dreams. I would tell girls, no, I'm cool. And I would show them the girl of my dream. They were like, oh, what's so special about her? I mean, she kind of cute, but da-da-da-da. And I'd be like, y'all don't get it. Y'all won't understand. But that's her, and that's who she is. You know what I'm saying? And I really bought into that idea. But what you realize is the person of your dreams might not fit what your reality is doing. And then, you know, in life, we have a lot of outside forces that can affect what's going on with us internally. Like, perfect example, I always chilled with one individual more than everybody else, right? Like, it got to the point where I was calling him there, that's my brother. You know what I'm saying? And the girl of my dreams wasn't too fond of him. You know what I mean? I didn't know what the deal was, why, but now that me and him no longer interact with each other on any level, I totally understand. And there's been people that tried to warn me about this person. I'm talking 10 years ago. I'm talking 13 years ago. People was trying to warn me about him. You feel me? But my logic is, man, if you ain't do it to me, then all that's hearsay. You ain't do it to me. Like, I ain't experienced it, so shoot, I'm cool. You know what I'm saying? So, but anyway, she really expressed a lot of disappointment when I started hanging around him again. Now, I took a gap from hanging around him because I had changed my surroundings completely. I up and left. I changed my scenery, and that allowed her to see me in a different light, which made her like gravitate to me more. But I was so selfish about that I was like, man, if you could love me from that far away, why you can't love me the same way up close? What I didn't realize was that the forces around me when I was closer wasn't serving me correctly. And then it took, I know, y'all can hear everything. Then it took, like, when you got a good friend, or you consider them a good friend, you give them a lot of passes. You give them a lot of passes. And you really, like, you would think they got unlimited passes in your eyes. You feel what I'm saying? Like, so it's one of those situations where, as, like, I was giving up so much. I was giving so many passes to the individual that I was blinded by, like, the fact that people's motives be a little weird, and they don't, and even though they could be around as your supporting cast, they don't necessarily support you. That's another gem. You can have a whole range of a supporting cast, but none of them will support you. They might like what you offer. They might like that you need to lean on them for something. They might like the fact that, whenever you get something, they the first one you want to share it with. You know what I mean? Like, so the girl of my dreams was basically on something. And I refer to her the girl of my dreams. And I know she probably gonna listen to this one. If she know I dropped it, she probably listen to it. But whatever. But I know for a fact that she had my best interest at heart, but me being blinded by, I guess, trying to hold on or be loyal to said individual, I was blinded by, like, the fact that that individual might not be serving me in the correct fashion. A lot of that came to blow up in my face. Now, I know I just jumped around. But I end up in this situation after I lose the girl of my dreams, right? Initially, I wanted this situation to be a work relationship. Really, I was going out there for a work relationship. I wasn't going out there for love. I was going out there because I got tired. We were doing a podcast. I believe the podcast is still going. I don't know. I'm not giving it no promo. If you have heard the earlier versions of this podcast, I was shouting out that podcast, but I will no longer reference that podcast ever again because, whatever. But anyway, no disrespect, but this is why I'm about to have probably 3 parts of closure. But anyway, I get into a different kind of situation with said individual, correct? And hold on, man. Hold on. Let me just I'm going to take a brief little intermission. Oh man. All right, so I get into the situation with said individual, and I was under the belief that we were going to be able to hash out at least 100 episodes. That's what I feel like it would have took. About 100 episodes, we could have gained enough traction to where maybe the podcast could have supplemented for some income, and then that way we could alter how we're going about doing other things. You know. But I also want to how do I want to say it? So initially I was supposed to move to one part of another state, right? Seemingly out of nowhere, she wants to move to a whole different part of the state. Mind you, she knows nothing about this area, no research. She says a little birdie told her about this place. And so she went out there, not knowing that that town is literally in the middle of nowhere. Everywhere that is directly accessible or that is necessarily needed to function is an hour and a half, 2 hours, an hour outside of this town. I already have obligations in a whole nother state that I have to tend to. It was feeling like my problems and my obligations weren't necessarily being respected, but I had to do a ton of accommodating to all of her problems and her situations. Whether I did it voluntarily or involuntarily, it was being done. Like I said, I might not have met her all the way on the financial side, but I helped her make the money. I helped her get to the money. Now, had we had separate ways of getting to our own money, then I believe our relationship would still be on, because it wouldn't be such a codependence type of thing. Like, I adjusted my whole schedule to fit the needs of her work schedule. Now, I did lose a job. I did lose a job. How I lost a job, we ain't gonna get into all that. You wanna know how I lost a job? It's in the episode. Y'all can find it somewhere. I ain't gonna tell y'all where. That's the beauty of it. I need listens. So, if y'all wanna plug into what's going on in my life, y'all can listen to this and y'all can hear what's going on in my life. But, irregardless, my whole schedule adjusted to adapt to her work schedule. You know what that left me with? Way less money, way less time to think and sort things out, and a lot more stress, because I still have obligations in another state. Don't forget that. So I'm making like a 3-hour drive in and out of town to do what I gotta do in another state. Then when I'm in that state with her, I'm making an hour drive to work, an hour drive back. Look, I don't even like driving that much. People be like, you should be a CDL driver. No, the fuck I shouldn't, because I don't even like driving that much. Driving that much is a pain in the neck, because maybe if I get a CDL, I don't know, who knows? I don't know what life's going to hold in the next couple years, but just as for me right now, driving all day requires a different level of concentration. I was about to say conversation. I know, right? Sad. But you got to have a different level of conversation. You got to have a different level of patience. Like, you got to drive for you and other people. Like, all the time. Not to mention, you got to drive home. So that's why I don't necessarily like a driving job, because you have to think for up to 100 people at a time, especially in more concentrated areas. You got to be mindful of 3 cars behind you, 3 cars in front of you, 3 cars beside you on each side and diagonally, and you got to make sure you can see how people are moving, and it takes a level of focus that all of us aren't ready for. I don't know if y'all understand that, but hey, that's what it does. It takes just an unquestionable level of focus. So, mind y'all, I'm driving in mountains. So the wintertime is brutal. I don't care how good the budget is. The budget ain't going to be the best for icy roads. If you don't got the right tires, which I didn't a lot of the time, I ain't going to act like I got it all. I need to go get a new tire on Monday, to be honest. I should have got it yesterday, to be honest. But if you don't got the right equipment and you're not properly prepared, then you're setting yourself up for failure. Y'all heard that. So, I'm doing a lot of unnecessary driving from my standpoint to accommodate another individual. Not necessarily accommodate myself, because I don't benefit from the money she make. She was giving me gas money, but bruh, that gas money ain't solve nothing if the trip is an hour there, hour back. That gas money gets drank up on that trip. Let's be real. I was getting $25 a day for every day she worked. She worked 3 days a week. I worked 4 days a week. That little $75 worth of gas was gone every week. Like, let's be real here. Gas was $4 a gallon. Let's be real here. Like, so she know, and I know. Now, that little money wasn't helping me pay none of my bills. I still got a car note, car insurance. You know what I'm saying? Maintenance on the car. My oil change bought about $75. So, like, let's just be real here. Now, I was willing to ride for the relationship when it felt like it was worth some kind of wow. If it was worthwhile, I was willing to ride for it, because I was under the belief that we were going to be doing this podcast. Soon as she got herself to a position where she was seeing some money, all of a sudden she wanted to be a Renaissance woman. And she was in competition with other people. I say this all the time. Comparison is the thief of joy. Comparison is the thief of joy. When you trying to compete with people you shouldn't even be thinking you competing with, it's going to take away from your happiness. It's already hard enough to be happy in the first place. Now you want to compare yourself to people who don't got the situation you got. All of a sudden you want to be a nail tech because you don't want to pay for nails, but you mad at the fact that all your coworkers got their nails done. So you would waste, and I'm saying waste, I ain't even gonna say invest, because I ain't in the mood to be positive. It's okay not to be okay. You would waste all this time away from the multimedia plan that we had for nails, to do manicures. I'm not saying it's a wrong thing. I'm just saying, once the plans went from we and us to just you, how do you expect me to feel? How do you expect I to feel? Like, and it didn't stop with that. I'm not going to go into all the particulars on why that relationship ended. But what I've learned is hearts don't break even. And I'm cool for the most part. I don't miss her. I don't. I miss our working relationship. But I also don't miss that she would press me out to do episodes. But when it's time to do the episode, all of a sudden, I'm nervous. And I don't even know what to say about that. This is your topic. But you could talk over me on my topics. But your topics, you don't know what to say about your topics. I need somebody to make it make sense. So, as I was seeing she was losing interest in the we aspect of what we had going on, I started thinking for myself. I start being very disinterested in everything that was going on around us. And I believe that's like a rightfully so type of situation. Like, now, it all came to a head because she chose not to listen to me. Her best friend, which came into play later on, like within the mix of all this, her not giving a fuck about me. Her best friend excuse for her not listening to me was, well, we came up hard, so it's going to be hard to listen to people. That was my karma. Because when I had the girl in my dreams, I didn't listen to her. Now, I tried to make up for all the wrong I was doing in that situation by trying to be as right as possible, completely like straight and narrow L7 square for the next situation. And it came to bite me in the ass because guess what? She didn't want to listen. Direct karma. Am I supposed to be, I can't be mad at the fact that she ain't listen, but my level of disappointment couldn't allow me to have a real conversation with her. And that's how the relationship ended. Because I ain't had nothing to say to her. You know you wrong. You know you was wrong. But you're not going to focus on the fact that you was wrong. You're going to focus on the fact that I ain't want to deal with the fact that you was wrong. That's why I say we don't get closure. We just obtain more baggage. And we have to figure out how we adjust to packing our luggage. I don't know when Closure Part 2 is coming out. It's not going to be the next episode because I'm not going to want to talk about this another episode. Not right away. I want to be able to, my Closure Part 2 should be like, what have I learned from situations? And what can I take from situations? That's what I want Closure Part 2 to be about. Not just this constant venting about what's going on and what's going wrong, or how I feel about the what's going ons and the what's going wrongs. Anyone that hears this, anyone that can hear my voice, thank you. You don't have to like the podcast. You don't have to love the podcast. You ain't even gotta hate the podcast. I don't know. But thank you. If you decide to listen to my voice for the last almost 40 minutes or so, thank you. I gotta start my day. But I do have to remind y'all that it's okay not to be okay. Okay. Don't sue me, Drake.